What's up everybody, welcome. In this tutorial I'm gonna talk to you guys about filling our table. So guys, let's get started. I will write here, first of all, let's double click on this and let's write 1. Okay, as a name I will write here Tom, and surname I will say Hanks, and age I will write 55, let's write. Okay, but here I will just write here, let's write new. I will say Peter. Okay, Peter, let's write as a Ter. Okay, Peter Ter, and age I will write here 45. Okay, when I click here, or let's click this apply and finish, you can see I didn't write here ID number, but when I click apply here, my program, my workbench, my MySQL workbench automatically create this 2 for me. That is why I wrote, when I was creating this, you can see I wrote here auto increment. When I click this, this means if you write just one time here ID, you don't need to write any ID here, because your ID will auto increment. Let me show you. I will write here Mary and Jane as in let's write this. Okay guys, let me stop the video here. I will fill this and I will play video again. Okay guys, that's it. You can see I wrote here my age, surname and names. These are my employees. You can see here I didn't write any ID here. After 2 I didn't write any ID, but if I click apply and if I click here apply again and finish, you can see my ID by default came here, because I set here, let me come here, I set here auto increment. So let me close this and let me show you our data types here. For getting the data types, I will just write here basic SQL, but do not focus here. I will explain this in the next lecture. I will write describe, and let's just write employee. Okay, and my column, I will choose this and I will click here. You can see this is my column. This is my columns and rows. So field is ID, name and surname or age. These are my columns. And this is the types. Types of ID is integer. Types of name is varchar, and types of surname is also varchar, and age is integer. But you can see here null, we have here null. That means if you can write null here or not. I said here, let me click here. You can see I said, let's just close one of them. I said my ID and name cannot be null. That is why I choose this not null. And in here, my program my program tells me that this cannot be null, and this also cannot be null, but surname and age can be null. And you see here, I saw that P, R, and I, and that is primary key. Here you can see this key, and it is primary key. And we have only just one primary key, and that is ID. Because in the previous lecture, I said, guys, in the table, you can just have only one primary key. You cannot just, you cannot have multiple primary keys. You can have just one. Okay. And here you see this extra, and this extra means auto, for example, this auto increment. Your ID is auto increment, but none of them except this ID, none of them is auto increment, because I just wrote here auto increment for this ID. So guys, you can see here, this is extra, this is default, key, null, type, and field. You can just write this code, this SQL here, and you can see all of this. Okay guys, so let me remove this, also remove this. Let me just click here one more time, and you can see this is my table. So guys, let's finish our lesson here, and in the next lecture we will continue our SQL lessons.